And now we're moving on to what would normally be the number one game of the week, but this week was special. And so it's number 2. The Dallas Cowboys versus the Green Bay Packers. A classic matchup in Lambeau Field, starring Aaron Rodgers, also Dak Prescott starring. Let's look at the stats and see who won. This is a classic America's Game of the Week. Is this game always called America's Game of the Week? And we're like, yes, the Packers, the small fledgling franchise that's owned by a whole bunch of people in shares and doesn't have an actual owner, from the smallest city in the NFL versus the bad boy Dallas Cowboys, America's team, owned by evil man Jerry Jones, right? Is that the game here? Well, it was a fun game. Good call making it a game of the week. I'm surprised it wasn't Sunday Night Football just for the sake of who was playing. But there was someone else, was it? Niners, Chargers. Yeah. These teams match each other. Same turnovers. Very close in yards. Very similar third downs. But Aaron Rodgers had a classic. He only threw the ball 20 times? I'm sorry. I have to look that up. That seems shocking to me. That he only threw it 20 times. They ran it that much. Wow. He had some beautiful throws, too. I mean, he still threw 220. Yeah, he averaged over 10 yards in a reception. Or 10 yards in attempt. Not even a reception. 3 touchdowns. He had some gorgeous passes down the stretch. In the fourth quarter, Aaron Rodgers, he showed up. Maybe he was inspired by playing against his old coach, McCarthy. Is it believed that Rodgers got him fired? Like that he complained and got him fired? I don't know. Write in the comments if you think that Rodgers got McCarthy fired. And then Prescott, they really loaded up on him. But Pollard was great. I think he had one big, amazing run. Oh, he didn't. Never mind. He did not have a long run, but 22 for 115 and a touchdown. Wonderfully done. Aaron Jones had some incredible runs. I believe there was a run to the left. Maybe it would have been was it even a pass? No. It was a run to the left that he just snuck out, some sort of magician stuff, and then kept going upfield and got the first down. Aaron Jones is great, and Dillon is also terrifying. If I'm a safety, I don't know. Dillon's turning into one of those running backs where you're like, nah, I don't want to do this anymore. Can we put a different player in? I don't want to tackle him. I'm surprised they don't just feed him the ball, especially in the fourth quarters. I mean, they were down, and Aaron Rodgers had to win this game by throwing it when they're losing by 14 after the end of the third. Cowboys had a great third quarter. CeeDee Lamb, oh, wow. 11 for 150. 2 touchdowns. Dak Prescott looked fine. 2 picks, though, is just not exactly what you want, obviously. The interceptions were thrown. Were those early on? That was early on, and they were still winning. So, I mean, he didn't blow it down the stretch. But stopped him on downs. The Cowboys decided to not forego the 52-yard field goal. Decided to go for it on 4th and 3. I agree. I mean, I don't know. Did the Packers actually kick it on 4th down? They didn't. So Packers still could have scored a touchdown. So, I mean, getting the field goal might have still ended up with them scoring a touchdown. I think you go for it. I think you don't want to give Aaron Rodgers the ball back, and a 52-yard field goal is too hard to make. Anyone to just take the points is like, take what points? I haven't heard any arguments about that. It obviously wasn't a short field goal. So, like, taking the points is not the word you would use. Like, risk the attempt to score points and then just give them the ball, way upfield anyway. So, I don't think it was a good call. But Aaron Rodgers looking great. Hey, I know he didn't throw too many yards, but he was efficient, effective, 70%, 3 touchdowns, and they're leaning on the run. I saw this in the Bills game down in the second half that Jones and Dillon are really good. 1-2 punch. Jones is fast, kind of an all-around running back, and Dillon is man, like tree trunks of legs. I don't want to tackle that person. I don't want to tackle any NFL player. I'd probably separate my shoulder if I tried. But Dillon looks terrifying, and he's not slow either. It just looks like he'll just pound forward and just wear out your defense. And if they can put together, they're 4-6. Is it 4-6? Yeah, they're 4-6. And if they can put together a good run game and a good pass, here they are. I mean, here they are. And Watson, 4 catches, 107 and 3 touchdowns. I wouldn't rely on something like that, you know? I wouldn't be like, oh, and then Watson's totally just going to get us like 26 yards of reception and or 27 yards of reception. That no big deal. We'll just rely on that for the rest of the season. No, I mean, but hey, Watson's making plays, and maybe they're just going to start figuring it out. And they can sneak into the playoffs, and then who knows? They'll probably lose because the Packers, no matter how good they are, they seem to just lose in the playoffs. Or, hey, the only time Aaron Rodgers ever made it to the Super Bowl is when he was an underdog. And so maybe the underdog mentality will support his ability to score and win. The Cowboys are still in a good place. They'll probably still make the playoffs. But there's something weird about this team. It always just feels like... Are we misunderstanding what talent is when it comes to them? Is it a coach thing? I haven't watched the Cowboys enough, but it always just feels like I look at their team and I think, dang, they're good. CeeDee Lamb. Oh, that defense. Parsons. There's nothing wrong with Prescott either. And they always seem to be able to run the ball. At that point, you just run into, but why? But why are they not Super Bowl contenders? Even last year, they were good, not Super Bowl contenders. This year, good. But I don't know. Do you put it on Prescott because of how well they played with Cooper Rush? Is this a more, like, when he came back out on the field, it's like they became the best team in football because they improved in the quarterback position, most important position, obviously, and they improved from Cooper Rush. Is this kind of a situation where you're not... Is it Prescott? And then if it's Prescott, what do you do? Obviously, you don't go to Cooper Rush. But what do? Do you draft a person next year? Do you try to move up and draft someone? Do you go with just another name? I'm not sure. Do you do that exchange, like the Rams did? Just we'll take Stafford, we'll give you Goff, and then you gear up and win a Super Bowl. Because the Cowboys are good enough. I think the rest of their team is good enough. Or do they fire the coach and give it a different shot? Is Prescott being held back by McCarthy? I mean, they made all those comments and those beliefs back when the Packers were not winning Super Bowls, and granted, they got rid of McCarthy, and they're still not winning Super Bowls. So, I'm not sure. That's a frustrating situation to be in. Or do you move on from Jerry Jones? Seems like they put a lot of good players in the field, but is it Jerry Jones? He's quite old. Either way. Maybe you move on from McCarthy, maybe you move on from Prescott, maybe you move on from Jerry Jones, but I'm just going to move on from this game. And we're going to go to the next one. And I am very excited for it.